There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bom dia, alegria. Monson here with the Good Morning Portugal show. How are you? Tudo bem? Como estás? Do let us know in the chat, as people have been doing already. Pete's here. Baddy's here. Deagle, Coach Turner, and some lovely input from the T-Duck this morning. Has he given us a duck rating this morning? No, he hasn't. And the one, I think it was only yesterday when we had a little birdie and a space rocket and a car. That was, of course, a little tribute to Elon Musk, I think. And T-Duck out and about this morning. But yeah, as I say, delivering some 5-star content, cinco estrelas, and we'll see us at the meetup later on today in San Martino de Porto. That's great. So yeah, maybe see you there. It is eldest son's birthday, Digby's birthday today, 11 years of age. Can you remember being 11? What would your advice be to an 11-year-old? I remember my stepfather was working on a movie with the great movie star Robert Mitchum. And he asked, Mr. Mitchum, can I have an autograph for my stepson, Carl? And Mitchum said, I'm not sure I can do a Robert Mitchum impersonation. But he said something like, sure, how old is your stepson? And my stepfather said, he's 15. I think it was about that, teenager. And Mr. Mitchum wrote me, dear Carl, it gets better. Robert Mitchum, how about that? So yeah, 11. I think 11's quite a nice age. Still quite a lot of childhood innocence there. Not quite into the teens yet, are you? And some of the angst and the transformational energy that comes in your teenage years. So happy birthday, Digby, parabéns. And I would love to do more birthdays and anniversaries and acknowledgements here. So if there's anyone celebrating a birthday, an anniversary, or other notable occasion, please shout out and we will wish those people a very happy birthday, anniversary, or whatever it is, weddings, bar mitzvahs, etc. We can do that here. I have to miss the show today, says T-Duck. I have an early appointment. Now, talking of early appointments, Michael Heron is live in Madrid. We were trying to get him connected this morning and a little bit of trouble with his camera. So we're just going to give him a ring anyway. Hopefully this will work because there are some English breakfasts to share with him. I hope he can see the pictures on his laptop, even if we can't see him. But what we'll do is we'll give him a bell now. He needs to get out to work in Madrid quite early this morning. So it's very good of him to fit us in. So let's give him a buzz now and see if he's there, shall we?
Well, good morning.
Quick. Good morning. Hola, bon dia. What would you say when you're in Spain, in Madrid, Michael?
Buenos días.
Buenos días in Madrid then. So what's it like there?
It's been good, mate. It's been good. It's been lovely and sunny, blue sky. Bit nippy, a bit cold. Although I haven't been out this morning, so I couldn't tell you for certain. But It's been good. It's been very good. How are you doing?
Yeah, very well, thank you. I've been on the road as well. We had a lovely trip to central Portugal over towards you, very close to the Spanish border at Castelo Branco, and definitely a Spanish influence can be felt there. How far is Madrid from your home in Lisbon, approximately?
It's about a 1 hour, 10-minute flight.
Oh, okay, all right.
So it's very, very nice journey, and the airport in Madrid is also very close to the city, like in Lisbon. So it's actually a really nice trip to do.
Oh, good for you. Okay, well, how exciting to have you on the phone live from Madrid this morning. It is, of course, Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. Michael, quite the resident in this position on the first Wednesday of every month. Anything been on your mind since we last spoke? Certainly, some of our regulars have input and contributions for you. This full English thing won't go away, Michael. So I've got some news on that front. But what about from your point of view?
This is very exciting. No, let's go straight to the granular. I've got no interest in anything else. Now that you've piqued my interest in that, we need to talk about this immediately. So please carry on.
We had
ahead.
we had you at full English, did we? But I would like to know from one question I've got, given that anyone can ask anything and anyone can answer anything as well. This is how we work. We are a community contributed effort here, the Portugal loving community contributed show. Good morning, Portugal. Any questions at all? You know, you could be quite new to Portugal. You might not even have got here yet. But if you're interested in Portugal, if you're fresh here, if you've been here for ages and still things are occurring to you and you'd like some help, this is the place to be this morning. And everyone is a question poser and everyone is a question answerer as well, because we all have experience in different areas of being here in Portugal. My question for everybody is, what was the first thing you bought on Amazon? I'm asking that because I would like to know what it is you neglected to pack or didn't realize you needed to have when you arrived here in Portugal. And one of the best ways to get that thing, I suppose the Chinese shop will be quite a good way. That's a new part of Portuguese life that you might get used to here fairly early on. And somebody will say, oh, you just need to go to the Chinese shop for that little thing that you didn't bring with you. The other alternative, of course, is Amazon. And we always promote the idea of going to independent traders if you can. But of course, the beauty of Amazon is they'll probably deliver tomorrow and they'll have that weird thing you need. What was that weird thing you neglected to pack or didn't know you even needed to bring to Portugal? I would like to know, please. So I'm just still putting something on the screen. It looks a bit weird. We have got Michael Heron live. We haven't got him on camera, but I need to put something on the screen so that you know he's talking to us. And he's already salivating, thinking about English breakfast. So what have I got here? Live, Michael Heron in Madrid. Let me just finish this, Michael. And I need to put any questions, of course. Here, I wish I was. It's at times like these. I wish I was a faster typist. Let me just, which I'm not, as you can painfully hear and see now. I do need to put a question mark on that. Bear with. We are there now. We're adding that banner. What's the coffee like over there, Michael?
It's the generic Nespresso machine. So I'm actually staying at my aunt and uncle's today, and then I'm going to my hotel.
I got family there as
my
well.
Work event tomorrow. So yeah, so I was out with my cousins last night. It was actually really nice. I was out with my cousins last night. We went out for a few beers, and they live even closer to the airport. So they live like 10-minute taxi from the airport. So it was a very pleasant journey yesterday.
Good for you.
And I had a very nice evening. And yeah, had a coffee this morning. You know, typical Nespresso coffee, but the coffee in Madrid in general is good, but it's not as good or as strong as the coffee in Portugal. But it is very good.
Nice comparison. Good, yeah. I'm being told by Deagle Carl, you're a little hoarse this morning. Makes me think of My Little Pony when he says that. I'm a little hoarse this morning. Maybe I'm Mrs. M.
Don't stop with the dad jokes, mate. You need to stop with the dad jokes.
Oh, you're not a fan, are you? You will be long gone by the time and off to your meeting by the time we get around to the dad jokes this morning. You might like to know that Monsanto looks beautiful today, and some greetings for you. Morning, Michael. Hope you're enjoying Madrid. Hope you saw the Spurs game yesterday. Is there a barb in that comment?
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I was watching Porto play Atletico Madrid. So I wasn't actually tuned into the game. I was invited to go to the Real Madrid match tonight because they're playing Celtic, but unfortunately I have a work dinner, so I'm not able to go. I was very cheekily going to try and go for the first half.
Really?
Leave, but yeah. But I thought it was a bit.
You're so showbiz. You are so showbiz. That's Deagle's asking that. Are you there for the football game? So not. Pete saying those Marseille fans looked amazing before the game and even better at the final whistle there. So Spurs, Marseille. I'm guessing Marseille had that game there then. Thank you very much for your... Oh, and a question for you. We'll come back to that. Porto were excellent. And look at all the football chat has started now. You hear?
There you go. Open a can of worms there.
Yeah, glad to catch Michael finally. Almost World Cup time. I know some don't agree and won't support. I'm excited though. It won't go away, will it? The controversy. Always loved it. It's the 10th I've followed in my lifetime. Wow, that's a good and interesting way of counting World Cups, isn't it? How many you've experienced?
10. That's a lot. Oh, that makes me think. Okay, how many have I had? All right, so. The first one I remember is 90, so that'd be 1994, 98, 2002, 2006, 2010, 2014, 2008. So this would be my ninth.
Michael, I had a little story there about Robert Mitchum and my stepdad. Story about my father now. I remember watching the 1970 World Cup with him. We were away on a holiday somewhere, and it was my first try of a cigarette, I think, when I was 5. And I think we were watching.
5?
Yes. I think he.
I mean, it was a different time, wasn't it? Eh? It was a different time. Fantastic.
Maybe that's
Absolutely
why.
fantastic.
Maybe that's why I'm a little hoarse now. Um,
But my dad, bless him, rest his soul. He got involved early as well. I think he was like 7 when he first tried cigarettes, and obviously, like, he was a bit before your time. But back in the day, obviously, everyone smoked. So I think he just tried some cigarettes, and then decided, and he never smoked again. I think, but yeah,
well,
he
that's
was 7.
right. It took me a long time to get back onto it. Another 14 years before I think we'll try again, or maybe 10, something like that. Not that I'm encouraging that in any way, but I'm pretty certain that's when it was. So 1970 was the first World Cup I saw, when England had everything to play for, of course. So they'd won in 66. Yeah. And they were playing again in 70, and presumably would they be? No, they wouldn't have been hosting. Would they? In 70?
It was in Mexico. Yeah, it was in Mexico,
right, okay.
And England lost to West Germany in the second round, and they were 2-0 up.
Listen to you.
The goalkeeper, because Gordon Banks was injured, and the substitute goalkeeper was a guy called, I can't remember his name now. Someone else will know. And basically, the Germans had 2 very lucky goals and came back and won 3-2, and then obviously went on to, I think, lose to Brazil in the final. Maybe was that the 70 final? Or was
That's
that
the drama, then, isn't it?
No,
Gordon Banks crashing into the goalpost or somebody.
I think the fight. Yeah, everyone always says that the final should have been England-Brazil at that World Cup, because they met in the group stage and drew 0-0, and basically Gordon Banks had that really famous save against Pele.
Yeah,
and the captain at the time, who used to play for West Ham, I've forgotten his name now. See, I'm not always that good with my knowledge.
Well, had pretty good, I've got to say.
Had this brilliant game where he just managed to just stop Pele. You know, there's a famous photo of him exchanging his shirt with Pele, like, after the game. Oh, what's his name? Someone will say it in the chat.
Well, I think Pete might just about remember that or know that. Who says, for our information, Spurs won 2-1. Okay, in the 95th minute and topped the group. Thank you for that footy update there, Pete. And do you know who Michael was talking about there? Okay, so let's go to the incoming mail this morning, and we'll go back to a few of your greetings. Michael, only with us for a little while this morning, but I'm very glad you are, Michael, and thank you for
apologies for the lack of camera action, although probably that's not a bad thing necessarily. So yeah, just get my voice in.
After a few beers last night in Madrid. Okay, so first we got about 2 minutes of video from Raquel, and we have an English breakfast video as well. And the mystery has been solved. I wondered why this English breakfast had New York cheesecake with it, because that's not very full English, is it, to have cheesecake with your full English?
No, but I don't mind a bit of cheesecake though. Bobby Moore is the West Ham captain.
All right, Bobby Moore. Check you out multitasking with that research. Okay, and so this is the context of why this particular full English, and others are available this morning, thanks to Lord Gilchrist as well. But this is the context as to why Raquel, bless you, Raquel, sent in an English breakfast and New York cheesecake, because this was an earlier interaction between us. It's quite strange seeing us back in the day on the video here, Michael. Check this out if you can see this. Bon dia from Antonio F. Good morning, Antonio. Raquel is here. You won't get an argument from me. Best go to Twitter for that sort of thing. And didn't they do well the other night? From beachy side of Southern California. Hola, Carlo Michael. What types of businesses Portugal may be in lack or in need of? I think that is such a good question. What business opportunities have you seen here for entrepreneurial people coming in?
English breakfast and New York cheesecake.
I thought you might say that. I thought you might in one single restaurant, the kind of Anglo-American cafe bar.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Anything else? Car importation or selling mechanics that does matriculation as well. That would be another business opportunity. Now we can stop it there because she was straight on it, and made this video. This is so great, and this is why we are a community contributed affair here. Portugal loving and community contributed. This is a great reflection or illustration of how brilliantly it comes together. People making things specifically for the show, and for you, in this case, specifically for you. That particular request there, Michael. Look at this. Man, did you see that, or are you just able to hear us?
I didn't. I wasn't able to see it, unfortunately, but I will rewatch it later.
To you.
I will watch it later.
Send it
So I'm
to
guessing
you.
is that a montage of like of an English breakfast with a cheesecake
breakfast,
as well altogether?
Yeah, 3 eggs there. How do you like your eggs with your full English?
Wow, sunny side up, mate, every time.
Well, there are 3 of them there, and a lovely bit of cheesecake with strawberries and some sort of bread roll. I wanted to say spotted dick. I don't think it is spotted dick. It was a raisin encrusted bread of some sort there. An interesting twist, definitely on the full English with a New York cheesecake on the side. So great effort. Thank you very much for that, Raquel. And the questions, before we finish with English breakfast, just so everyone else who likes that sort of thing can salivate. And I noticed somebody at the Quality Street, tubs of Quality Street for Christmas are already out. And no, Deagle, you sent, just because it's after Halloween now, it's not okay to start talking about Christmas. And I wish I hadn't done that there. But it kind of goes with the full English breakfast. One I'm showing on the screen now with 2 eggs, mushrooms, some fried potatoes, a few rashers of bacon there and a few beans. And in the sort of shop where you find tins of beans, you're probably going to be seeing the tins of Quality Street. Are they a global thing, the Quality Street? I wonder. Used to be a proper tin. That's why it's called a tin of Quality Street. Now a plastic tub. Things have changed. I'm sure in the 1966 and 1970 World Cups, we'd have been eating Quality Street out of a proper tin and breaking our teeth on the toffees back in those days. But a question from Pete for you then, here on Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. My first, just before we move on from World Cups, which you probably won't do, but my first was 86, the famous Hand of God goal by Maradona. That's quite a debut, isn't it?
Yeah.
That knocked England out. Yeah, also a big backstory between England and Argentina at the time. Well, you've got England and Argentina backstory as well, haven't you?
Well, my parents, right? So, I mean, this would have been fascinating. Imagine my dad watching that game with my mum, his new wife, and I'd have been 3 at the time. So obviously I have no recollection of that game. But yeah, he'd have been watching it with my Argentine family. So you can imagine how that went for him. And that was just after the Falklands as well.
Oh my word!
It was quite yeah. So a bit of a cultural clash. In fact, I have a confession to make. The 1990 World Cup, I was supporting Argentina because I was only 7 at the time, and my mum basically put me down in front of the TV and was like, right, you're watching Argentina, you're supporting Argentina with me. And in that World Cup, the first game was a disaster, but well, not for the world because it was a huge upset, but for Argentina it was. So the first game of the 90 World Cup was Argentina versus Cameroon, because Argentina had won it in '86, and so the back in the day the first game of any World Cup would always be the defending champions in their first group game, and it was against Cameroon, and Cameroon beat Argentina 1-0.
Wow!
And Argentina really struggled to get through that group, but then got to the final. And there was a player called Claudio Caniggia who was playing for Argentina, and he's played for Benfica before. He's played for Rangers. The Scottish love him, and basically he scored I think 4 goals in that tournament, and I was just this little kid watching him, and he just like looked like this superhero to me. So that was like the first kind of moment of my football obsession. But then very quickly I realized that I had to support England. It's the country I grew up in and where I was born. But I've always had an affinity for Argentina as well. So yes, it was just for that World Cup, and it was a magical World Cup to watch, even though probably Argentina's style wasn't the greatest in that World Cup. It was quite aggressive and quite violent at the times, and they lost the final, probably deservedly so. But it was a great World Cup. But '86 was phenomenal. I don't remember watching it. Obviously, I've watched a lot of the video highlights, but I think that's probably of all the World Cups that you can watch, on tape now, that's probably the best one, the one with the best. The highest number of goals and the most amount of goals. It's unbelievable.
Very good. It's a good primer for anyone who wants to get into the World Cup spirit, you might say, for this year. That's how good it can be. You would pick 1986 as a great tournament.
Yeah, I think so. Just because of the performance of Maradona as well. Like, I know English people might get a bit annoyed about that because of what happened with the Hand of God and everything. But you look at his performance in that tournament, and yeah, basically, like you see, that's the difference between him and someone like Messi. That he made an average team world champions.
Yes.
And Messi was never able to do that. So I think that's why you have to put him down as probably the greatest ever.
Wow. Okay, quite a claim this morning, and it sounds like a reflection of their playing style in that tournament, by any means necessary, including a little cheeky push of the ball into the goal with your hand.
Yeah, they were just an average team, and people forget he'd already been doing that the season before. So he was playing for Napoli at the time, and Napoli were a team that had never won anything in Italy, and he basically got them to win the Italian league twice, I think, and the UEFA Cup. And again, a very average team. So this is why I think people underestimate just how good he was in terms of not like a Messi or Ronaldo 20 seasons scoring 30, 40 goals a season, but in terms of dragging an average team to winning things by himself effectively. I think that puts him ahead of any other player that's ever lived.
Fair enough.
It's a controversial thing to say. A lot of people will disagree with me, but this is the beauty of subjective opinions, right?
And also a nice little nod towards the rock and roll footballers, right? Not the technically brilliant, but people who are just enigmatic and big personalities on and off the pitch, rather than just straight up athletic football players.
I mean, off the pitch, you'd have to question a lot of the things the guy's done in his life and his character. Clearly, right?
Yes,
clearly. And there's a wonderful documentary for anyone interested that you can watch on YouTube, which is about Maradona's time in Italy, and it's tragic because he was effectively controlled by the Camorra, which is the Italian mafia.
Oh, really?
And he was so he was basically given endless supplies of drugs and prostitutes in exchange for him basically doing being pictured with them at events and just doing their bidding basically. So he was a victim of the Camorra in that sense. And it's quite sad. And he didn't really get into drugs until he moved to Europe, so he wasn't doing any of that stuff.
Wow.
As a young man in Argentina.
So, rock and roll is right, though, isn't it? I mean, he strikes me as like being like the James Brown of football in many ways, controversial and brilliant.
And you just think like if he was playing like that when he was bang on the Charlie for years in the 80s, like imagine how good he would have been if he wasn't drugged up, because cocaine isn't a drug that helps with sport performance, quite the opposite. Indeed. I think that's another thing you can factor in. So if Messi had been out on the Chang and the beer the night before a game, I don't think he'd have played as well.
No, indeed. I didn't expect to be having this conversation this morning. Good morning to you, Carl H.
No.
Good to have you here, Carl. We've got weather reports from Belfast as well this morning. We'll come back to that. And Deagle hasn't bought anything online ever, which is quite the claim, isn't it? You get some sort of award for that. Maybe we'll do you a Barcelo this morning for that. That is quite extraordinary. That cock hasn't been out for quite a while, and you get that this morning, Deagle. Amazon, eBay, Vinted. I don't know what that is. Anything online? Nothing. Never bought online in my life. I'm a cash person. That's incredible. Question for Michael then, while we've got you here, Michael, and live from Madrid this morning. Have you got a recommendation from your uncle and nephews, cousins that is, for a restaurant in Madrid? So lovely to have advice from a local. So you know Madrid quite well then, by the sound of it.
Yes. It depends what food you want to have. I would say, I'm a steak man. So I would say go to a restaurant called Rubaiyat, and let me send it to you over WhatsApp.
There you go, Pete. Rubaiyat. What can we enjoy in there then, Michael?
Let me just get the. So it's a Brazilian Argentine restaurant, but I've been to the sister restaurant in Argentina, and it's the best steak I've ever had, and the one in Madrid is fantastic as well.
Do you know what?
And it's just really good steak. Go on.
I can't buy steak without thinking of you. And Mrs. M is on a kind of steak diet at the moment. I mean, not kind of. She just wants to eat steak for most meals, right? And maybe with an egg in a Portuguese style. And every time I go to the butcher's to buy it for her, I'm reminded of you and the conversations we've had about how actually, let's face it, steak can be a bit tough in Portugal, can't it? And I know you have your specialist suppliers. And as somebody with a little bit of Argentinian heritage, you're not happy about it. Can you remind us, for those steak eaters and steak lovers, you've got this restaurant recommendation, but how do you go about getting decent steak in Portugal?
It's my most guarded secret. It's my most. But if anyone wants to know where I get my steak from, they can email me, and I will happily share.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a website.
Yeah.
So it's an online butcher, and they import all of their meat from either Argentina, Uruguay,
Seriously?
Japan, Australia, and Ireland. Yeah. And it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And not just the meat, by the way. I mean, to be fair, in Portugal, the rest of the produce is fantastic. So
Yes.
obviously pork, chicken, but they also do really good organic chicken, pork. They do amazing pork ribs as well. So yeah, anyone who wants to get proper meat in Portugal, email me, michael@avanlight.com, and I will happily share with you that information.
But
But
he's not,
yeah, it's a guarded secret.
he's
So
not doing it publicly.
it has to be a polite email. Otherwise, I may not share it with you. It depends the mood I'm in. Yeah. This is a very serious thing for me.
And an online wine token might help as well with that. Okay, so there you go, Pete.
No, there's no monetary exchange, and I have thought about it. I've recommended this place to a few people, and I have thought about they should give me some kind of like promo code or link so I can make money off it as well. But no, I'm happy to share the love. They're great. They're a great company, and their customer service is really good, and they deliver to the entire country. You have a minimum order if you're a little bit more remote, I think, but they will deliver to Chaves or wherever you might live in Portugal. They will deliver.
All right, thanks, mate. So we've got that recommendation, and you'll do that by email. We also now have your Madrid restaurant recommendation, Rubaiyat. There, so
Rubaiyat.
Rubaiyat. There you go.
Rubaiyat. Rubaiyat is really good. In terms of, I mean, for me, so in Madrid, what I enjoy the most, there's an area in Madrid. I'll write it down as well. So there's an area in Madrid called La Latina. You can get it on you can get there on the metro line really easily. And basically, on a Sunday, typically that's when a lot of people will go there. There's just a load of bars and restaurants with terraces outside, and it will still be fairly warm at this time of year. And just everyone's out eating and drinking, and all of the restaurants and bars in that area are really, really good, and the quality of the food is really, really good.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
Madrid's like Lisbon. It's difficult to eat badly. Avoid the typical restaurants with pictures of plates of food on the menu outside and things like
Yes.
that, and you'll be absolutely fine. Yeah.
Yes.
But Rubaiyat for me is superb. It's really good.
Okay.
A bit expensive, a bit on the expensive side, but
Yeah,
well worth it.
well
If you want
worth
a
it.
decent
Okay.
steak. Yeah.
All right. And now with this, you've got Pete's mouth watering. He's saying, "Thanks, Michael. My mouth is
Oh, pleasure,
watering
mate.
already." Night train from Sevilla to Madrid. That sounds like fun as well, doesn't it? And he reckons that
Yes.
there's great steak in the Estrela Mountains of Portugal.
There is, it's really funny because there's a guy I'm going to see. There's a Portuguese guy I'm going to see at this event on Thursday who I had a really heated debate with in the best way possible. Though the last time I was at this event a couple of months ago, because he's from the north, and he was saying to me that the meat in the north is really good. Like it's way better than the rest of the country. So yeah, I'm still waiting for his invitation. So I'll remind him of that when I see him tomorrow night.
Okay, so
He's meant to invite me back to his hometown. And,
sounds good. Because generally speaking, I mean, you could say, couldn't you, that the phrase "tough as old boots" definitely applies to most steak you would buy. And what I don't understand, you get a lot of these old fellas at the cafe, having a little shot of red wine, and they might have a bifana, and if they have, is it the prego, the steak sandwich? Oh my
yeah,
goodness! I mean, some of these guys have only got 3 teeth, and I just wonder how they managed to eat a Portuguese bit of beef because it's so tough. It's a kind of culturally accepted, isn't it?
yeah. Well, do you know what? It's interesting because with the bifana, well, I think the bifanas with pork, and then
Yes.
the is with beef. Because the bifanas I prefer, but then you're right with the beef sandwiches, it can be a bit tough. But then see, now I've realised why they do the bitok, right, which is the thin piece of steak with an egg on the top with the
Yes.
rice and the chips, because I reckon the egg being on the top just gives the meat more moisture, so it's easier to cut it. So I reckon that's probably why they invented the bitok, which was if you've got a cheap tough piece of meat, slap an egg sunny side up on the top with some rice and some chips, and you can't go wrong. And to be fair, it is one of my favourite dishes in Portugal.
Yes, it's true. It is true, but it's not a soft, succulent steak by any means. So there you go. There's a solution. Pam's in this morning as well. As is Rebel Mama, so who's saying, "Hola peeps, great to have you here, Rebel Mama. Madrid, oi gosto." Very good. Thank you for that. And great to see you. Alyssa's in as well. And so is Pam saying those steaks, quite a lot of air miles in those. So if you are concerned about importing steak from Japan, which must cost a pretty penny as well, then you can go to the Estrella Mountains. That will be the environmental and somewhat eased conscience there, if you're concerned there, Pam. Estrella Mountains for steak, the best steak in Portugal, we hear. And in Liverpool, down near the Cunard buildings, Titanic offices, once the boat left Belfast, there is an Argentina steak restaurant. Steaks like butter. So the reputation of the Argentinian steak known the world over. I think let's just check if there's any more questions for Michael, because he's got to go and do some proper work in just a minute. Michael, you can come and try our own steak once we get our limousine cows here on the farm. Open invitation. How about that?
Fantastic.
How about
I get given
that
all I get given all these open invitations, but I never follow up on them. But I'm going to start to follow up on people with their invitations for a full English and all this kind of stuff. Definitely, 100%.
Well, Rebel
100%.
Mama. Well, thanks, Pete, for that. Rebel Mama says, I've never had a tough steak here. Maybe they only serve it to the extranjeros. LMAO. Yes, maybe you're right. Best steak, says by Andy. Morning, Andy. We ever had was a restaurant, Casa dos Bifes Silva, listed on the Gumper map. Nice one. And we went to Portugal. We were in Portugal yesterday, and actually the steak there wasn't too bad either. That buttery sauce makes anything delicious, though, I've got to say, at Portugal. They must make that in a factory, but it is delicious. I had it on my frango steak as well. So last question that you might want to get involved in this morning before you have to go out and do some work, Michael, is from, I think, was it from Bill or Marcus here? Why so many? Oh, here we go. Yeah, why? If there are so many Chinese shops, why are there so few Chinese restaurants? Chinese food in Portugal. The Chinese shops, which I refer to as chingados. I'm not sure how naughty that is, but yes, definitely a lot of Chinese shops and outlets for household goods and everything else you might want to buy. But do you think that's a fair comment? So few Chinese restaurants in Portugal, and where might you find a good one, Michael?
I mean, yeah, do you know what? It's interesting because I think it's a cultural thing as well in Spain, where you have a lot of these. I mean, how would you describe it to someone who's never seen one before? It's basically, imagine a shop where they've just thought of everything.
Yes.
So you can potentially buy everything, from a iPhone charger to a shower curtain to
cable ties,
nuts and bolts,
tape.
literally everything. And there's one near me which is literally like a warehouse. So I think for the Chinese that own these shops, it's just a really straightforward business that makes a lot of money. And they work extremely hard. It's open every day, so they're not interested necessarily in and then don't forget that Chinese restaurants in Europe, well, everywhere, they're so different. The food is so different to what you would get locally in China. I think there's one restaurant in Madrid which is near to Plaza España, which is like the Spanish sort of one of the main squares in Madrid. It's called Plaza España, and there's a Chinese restaurant there, which is a Chinese restaurant for local Chinese people in Madrid.
That's
and
the place
it's very popular, and the food there is fantastic. So I would say, yeah, in Portugal, it's a bit harder. There used to be, I think it still exists. There is a really good Chinese restaurant in the Estoril casino. It's very, very expensive, but it's very good. Yeah, yes. You can have, get proper Peking duck there and all sorts. So I would say it's just, I think it's just one of those. It's just a cultural thing, and it's taken a bit of time for international cuisine to properly take off in Portugal. But Lisbon and Porto, especially now, you do get a lot more variety in terms of international restaurants. So yeah, they're not as many. It's just, in the UK, it's such a cultural thing, isn't it? We have so, like, every small town will have an Indian, Chinese, just everywhere.
Yes.
Whereas in Portugal, it's not quite the same, on the same level yet. But I would imagine that as we get more and more diversity in the demographic of the population in bigger cities like Lisbon and Porto, we'll see more of these restaurants.
Absolutely. I think you're right, and there's some support coming in. Michael is 100% accurate with regards to the beef from the north. So we got beef this morning in our conversation.
Beef about the beef. Do you know what? I'm really, and I think I'm sometimes a bit unfair about the beef in Portugal. I'm just coming at it from an extremely high standard. Anyone who's ever been to Argentina and had meat in Argentina will understand where I'm coming from. It really is just another level. And to be fair, I have had good steak in Portugal before.
Yeah, okay.
It's it's just also a grazing issue because the cows don't have the same luxury because of the weather. They don't have the same luxury of being grazed, in the same way as they are in other countries. So that's also why, which is why the Azores have better meat.
And it depends what you're used to. Yeah, and better dairy, right? And but it depends. You're absolutely right. Coming from the tradition you're coming from ancestrally, it's the same for me. My mother's from the Far East and a great cook of Chinese food. When you eat Chinese food elsewhere in the world, it has been changed as well, hasn't it, to suit the local palate?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, yeah, they say tikka masala was a restaurant in Scotland that invented it.
Exactly,
because they thought that the Scottish wouldn't be able to handle the spice, so it was adapted with tomatoes to make it less spicy. So, yeah, you always get this fusion and variation, don't you? And someone like yourself who was brought up having amazing Chinese food at home, I would imagine when you have it and it's not good, it must just be really disappointing because you're wanting to be that have that comfort and nostalgia that food brings you that you've grown up with. So when it doesn't quite perform, then it's almost the most disappointing thing possible, right?
It is, and you just get the Cantonese beige buffet of deep fried beige things with a red sweet sauce on, and that's what a lot of people imagine Chinese food to be. And fair enough, if that's your first experience, it can be quite exciting on the tongue and to the eye. And this is why I think Pete's review here of the Chinese restaurants in Castelo Branco being really bad. It's the first time he's had not so crispy aromatic duck accompanied by mini omelets. You see, there's a local twist in there. Stick an egg on it.
Wow,
Michael, I know you've got to go. Thank you so much for
my pleasure. I really appreciate you inviting me on, Carl. I'm sorry about the camera situation. I'll make sure next time I'll have that sorted. And have a great day, everyone, and hope to see you guys all soon. And please, if anyone wants to invite me for breakfast, I'll very happily come.
Well, on that note, Raquel is here. Olá, Portugal. Bom dia. Carl and Michael's voices. Great to see my video made it to Portugal before I did. Have to go to work now. Thank you, Carl. Have a great, blessed day, everyone. Right back at you. Igualmente, Raquel, and thank you for going to all that trouble. I really appreciate it. And same to you, Michael. Have a great day in Madrid, my friend.
Thank you very much, mate. All the best. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye for now. There he goes, Michael in Madrid there. We may well have a bit of Mrs. M later on today, but it just feels like it felt like it was Sunday yesterday, All Saints Day in Portugal. Very easygoing and quiet. A great live stream last night, Migration Tuesday with Gilda. Thanks to everybody who was on that call from between 9 and 10 every Tuesday evening. And we were talking, Gilda was saying as well, it's like Sunday. It's like, say it was Tuesday. We were driving back from Castelo Branco yesterday. Had a lovely drive. Oh my goodness, the IC8, you are wonderful. And we stayed off the toll roads. Oh, which reminds me, I must pay my toll bill I don't have a transponder because I rarely go on roads with the need to do so. So I need to get online and pay my my bill for those for the radar type transponder type. I was going to call them fines. They are really in a way, aren't they? And if you don't pay them, you certainly will get fined. But we came back yesterday from Castelo Branco to San Martino de Porto via Leiria shopping because it's the big boy's birthday today. And we came via, what is it? Ferreira de Zezere. And wow, seeing the water, seeing the Zezere, seeing it took, realizing what Gavo's been saying, that the water levels are lower. They are a little bit higher than they were, I'm sure, from the rain of the last few weeks. But what a lovely journey that was across central Portugal, and seeing some of the sort of countryside we've become unaccustomed to. And we'll have some video in due course. Our feet have barely touched the ground in the last 48, 72 hours or so. An amazing weekend, lots to share from Portuguese culture that we've been enjoying, and that will come out in due course. But so lovely to be on the IC8, perhaps the most Portuguese of Portuguese roads, notwithstanding, of course, Portugal's very own Route 66, the road that runs from north to south and south to north, like the spine of the country. And I don't know, would the IC8 be part of that, or is it all just the N2? I'm not sure, but so nice to get into deep Portugal and really feel that beating spiritual heart of Portugal in the last few days. Fantastic. Talk of beef. The beefing is continuing, and also talking of new business ideas. Thank you, Ubi, for being in this morning. Let's go back to the beginning, shall we, of the show this morning, and make sure we've got everybody's comments and include everything that everyone is attempting to cram into the increasingly busy show that we have with the Good Morning Portugal show, the Portugal-loving, community-contributed daily show. And T-Duck is on his way of running a few errands and will be at the Silver Coast meetup later on today. Deep thought then from T-Duck, which he pitched in before he left. Adults are always asking little kids what they want to be when they grow up because they're looking for ideas. The adults, that is, not the kids. Paula Poundstone, who was, as we are discovering this morning, American stand-up comedian, author, actor, interviewer, and commentator. Thank you very much for that, Paula. Yes, very good. And I imagine a few people were asking Digby that at the meetup today as he celebrates his 11th birthday. What do you want to be when you grow up? He might say, well, my dad hasn't bothered to do that, so why should I? Portuguese saying then, quem não tem cão, caça com gato. Those who don't have a dog hunt like a cat. I've always thought this, haven't you? Those who don't have a companion to help should go on doing it alone is some kind of translation there. Let's see if Antonio F agrees with that. Who's in? Morning to you, Antonio. Who knew? The Who Knew feature. Lisbon is older than Rome and has been a Portuguese city since 1147. Lisbon's history predates Portugal by... Hold on, Lisbon's history predates Portugal by several thousand years. I don't really quite understand that last bit. So Lisbon's history predates Portugal. Oh, I see. So Lisbon as a place Lisbon was Lisbon long before it was in the place now known as Portugal, perhaps. But it's older than Rome and has been a Portuguese city since 1147. That's some proper history right there, isn't it? Dad jokes we will come back to. I'll try these on Mrs. M. They're good this morning, as you can see if you are bothering to take a look. Otherwise, avert your gaze. Look away now and enjoy the dad jokes for the first time later on. And James is in as well this morning. Good morning, James. Bom dia, Campos. Feliz carta todos. Como tem passado? Looking forward to our extended conversation next Monday, my friend. I'm thinking of things I might ask and say to you, whereupon you will just say, il no sé, or il no percebe, whilst I just front it out and fake it till I make it with the Portuguese. The two types of Portuguese learner, it would seem. Cue this, you say, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. That's so true. And there's a lot of that going on at the moment, isn't there? People trying to solve the problems of the time using the techniques of yesterday, basically, or at the very most today. We need bigger pictures. We need to draw bigger lines, don't we, next to these troublesome lines that appear to be in the world at the moment. So yeah, bigger thinking, bigger picture, and a new level of consciousness and thought that will help us with some of the ongoing predicament of humankind. There's always going to be a bit of a challenge, isn't there, for humans as we evolve and develop. Yogi Berra quote of the day. He must have made that before he died. The simplicity of a Yogi Berra quote there for all to see. And we always like to put Yogi Berra's picture up as well. Can you imagine him saying that, can't you? What a face. That's a character face. He must have made that before he died, Yogi Berra. And there he is at the end of his career on the pitch, I think, saying goodbye to the fans at the ball game there. Yogi Berra quote of the day then. He must have made that before he died. Wherever I go, there I am. Also attributed to Yogi Berra. Although we're not exactly sure if that is true. Anna, Stephen, also in this morning. We'll get to you. Ian, Coach Turner, having a great time. And may well do a little bit of a blog about his hotel stay. A hotel with a racetrack. Not everyone's cup of tea, although they serve wine there as well as tea. At the hotel with the racetrack, a running track, that is. Although there is a racetrack down the road. He's been going to the Autodromo as well while he's been having a great time in Portugal. Bon dia, Gumpers, you say, Ian. Only 2 sleeps left in Portugal, unfortunately, but weather looks okay, so we'll be out and about. Have a great day. And your God Squad tip of the day. I've talked about this before, but I was reminded by a long article in The Guardian today on how important it is to retain the ability to balance. Now, the challenge in The Guardian today, here we go, and a nice bit of resonance. I think you were going to say this, and thank you for your video of acrobats in a restaurant, which I'll also play in just a moment. I must be psychic or something. Today's tip: can you stand on one leg for 10 seconds? why balance could be a matter of life and death and how to improve yours. So please, if it's safe to do so, try that, because you would think to yourself, of course I can balance on one leg for 10 seconds, but you don't really know that until you've tried it. Perhaps if you are a little infirm or not in the best of shape, make sure there is a chair nearby or an assistant of some kind. But how about that? Both legs, balance on one leg for 10 seconds, your own legs, not other people's. Okay, so let me just put the link to that into the comments as well. That could be pretty useful, couldn't it, as a way of getting into the habit of doing a bit of exercise. I'm pretty sure that with the God Squad tips of the day, people are doing these mentally and not physically. And it's often the way, isn't it, with a little bit of encouragement to be a bit more physical. So, yeah, I'll get round to it. But come on, today could be the day when you just try a simple balance of more than 10 seconds on each of your legs. There are many exercises that can help improve it, but perhaps the simplest is just to go walking on uneven ground, another way of improving your balance. That works all the muscles in your legs and the core that you need. And walking on the beach, I would add walking on the beach also exercises and muscles you don't normally use. And who doesn't like to use muscles they don't normally use first thing in the morning, right? So yeah, walking on the beach, walking in the rock pools, go steady out there. But it's really important, isn't it, to maintain balance? And we see this, don't we, with the elderly. They get, the less in control they are of their balance, the more kind of unstable they get mentally as well, it would appear. So good to stay on top of your balance, so to speak, if that's not a confusing image. Thank you, Coach Turner. Thank you very much indeed. Bon dia, Carl and Gumpers, from a mild but soon to be another yellow weather alert for yellow alert. Isn't that the getting up in the night? Yellow alert for rain in Northern Ireland, reckoned by 8 p.m. 40 millimeters will fall. Pleasant 10 degrees, could climb to 13 degrees. Mrs. M is with me on the screen here. Look at the beautiful vision. Deagle reckons I need a hot drink with my. I'm a little horse this morning, like My Little Pony.
Yeah.
Any chance of a nice milky coffee with honey in it to ease my troubles?
Yeah, I can make it for you.
I think it's turning into man flu. What?
If you send me a link, I'll see if we can chat while we're making cake.
Oh, from the kitchen, the birthday boy's having cake made for him, and he's having pancake-ish, is he, this morning?
Yeah, he's got pancake-ish.
He's a lucky lad, isn't he?
Bacon
e ovos, as we had in Castelo Branco yesterday. He liked that, didn't he?
Ovos estrelada.
Ovos estrelada, the old scrambles, scrambies, yeah. No?
Fried.
Estrelada is fried?
Yeah.
What? Okay, all right, I knew that. Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. M. We might have a bit of live cam from the kitchen. So shall I just send that to your phone? On Messenger, she says. Okay, well, let me just do that now. So we might get a bit of live cooking. How is everyone coping with Facebook at the moment and the changes to pages and groups? It's like every single activity you do on Facebook now has its own profile, right? Or are you all just leaving Facebook now? You're just sick of it, maybe. I don't know. What's your platform of choice at the moment? Oh, Garvo. Okay. Oh, excellent news, Garvo. Maybe see you later on today then. That's nice to know. And let me just send that to Mrs. M then. Paul Richards is sending in some fitness tips as well. That's amazing, Paul. And congratulations on your recent acceptance into a certain club in the Algarve. What's that all about, Paul? Do let us know if you will, or should I just mind my own beeswax with that? Link sent to Mrs. M then. Let's come back to your lovely. It's easy going, isn't it, this morning? Easy go. I know a few weeks back when we first, when we were remixing and relaunching the Good Morning Portugal show, I was quite giddy and excited. So maybe I've got into a little bit more of an easy going, although slightly hoarse way now in the mornings. One Alegria from Baddy. Looking forward to our return to Portugal later this month. I'm loving it how you're delegating all the work to those here in Portugal, and you can just swan in a few weeks' time. Flights are booked, and you're coming back. Be great to see you, Baddy. Be missing you at the meetups. Although you're going to be in Saya now, so it'll probably be you won't be with us quite so often. But looking forward to seeing you when you're back in the country. And great news that's all sorting out now with your home. And for anyone else obviously we talk to people in various states of process coming to Portugal, and we hear of despondency and dejection and disappointment. And Baddy's a really good example of how hanging on in there. You get there in the end. I think it's fair to say that, isn't it, Baddy? You've had one or two plot twists and ups and downs on your journey to Portugal. And yeah, last night I was in correspondence with somebody just feeling like giving up, basically. But hang on in there, folks. hang on in there. Buddy's a great living example there of what happens when you hang on in there and you get to hold on to your dream, and it all comes together in the end. A beautiful morning at last here. Has it been peeing down there, Pete? So nice to see the sky rather than clouds, although we needed the rain. Absolutely right. And Anna is in as well with a Bon Dia Alegria, as is Stephen, and it's two ducks. It was two ducks from T-Duck this morning. And Owen's in. Loved that post yesterday, Owen. Beautifully expressed, and yeah, thank you for doing that. 11 watching. We have the like monitor, like us Maximus. I think you maybe you take you're picking that up from Capricorn Chris this morning, Pete. 11 watching, 5 likes. Go on, guys. Go on, smash that like button or like that smash button if you prefer. Phil's in. Whoop whoop. Bon dia, todos. Great to see you, Phil, recently. And Lady K, that was beautiful what you wrote. So thank you so much for writing that. Absolute pleasure to have been involved in any way with your wonderful Portuguese adventure, which, look, this is part of their Portuguese adventure, Phil and Kimberly. Monsanto looks beautiful today. I suspect it always will. You know, this is the most Portuguese of Portuguese villages, right? As I think even Salazar himself said that, and it remains true, doesn't it? Doesn't matter who says it. It's the content there, and Monsanto looking beautiful today, as I'm sure it does. Even when it's peeing down and there's clouds over it, or there's sun on Monsanto, it is the most remarkable hobbit village, isn't it? Prehistoric looking. You can imagine the Flintstones or the hobbits or any number of different types of people. Racco Welsh running out of Monsanto with a bear skin on. Oof. Sorry about that. Carl H. Bon dia todos. Hey, Carl. And there are a few greetings for Michael then. Well, then we a bit of footy talk. Bon dia gumpers from Brian. How are you doing, Brian? How are you? How's Storm? And whoop whoop from PT Country Bear. Bon dia todos, tudo bem? And was a picture from your neck of the woods this morning. A lovely one. What's the legend here? A balmy 9 degrees. Bon dia from Salgueiro de Lomba. And a picture to prove it as well. Thank you very much, Bill, sending this in. Look at that's beautiful, isn't it? A little pond in the shade there at the moment, or the pool, I should call it, and lovely sun-drenched forests in the distance as well. A little bit of cloud in the sky, but that tells it's all very well, isn't it? All the technical weather stuff, and I actually might do weather today. If I go to, I've got a news and weather tab. If you have a look at goodmorningportugal.com. Oh yeah, while we're on that matter, you do check out the site. Loads of traffic. I've hooked up with Google Analytics. A lot of traffic in Portugal and America and United Kingdom. Please visit the site. It tells you if people are looking at the site, if they've got trousers on, whether they're using a tablet or a traditional PC. You know whether they've been having dark thoughts. Google Analytics is quite extraordinary. And on our website, goodmorningportugal.com, of course, there is a news and weather tab now. So I'll have a little bit of a look at that. And we'll go to the kitchen of Casa Munson in just a moment as well. Where was it? Oh, we were still looking at that lovely picture of Salgueira de Lomba this morning. Thank you very much for that. And yes, your comment there, Marcus, as well. Okay, and let's just go through a few more of these before we get to the Casa Munson, the cozinha at Casa Munson here, and pancakes that are being made. Oh, this is fantastic. This is like a live cookery demonstration. Are you okay to come on? Yeah, no, she's not. She's nodding her head. She is giving a thumbs up. She's looking, I've got to say, she's looking a bit like Nigella Lawson for reasons that will be obvious in just a moment. Be still, my beating heart in the kitchen there. Recommendation, what's this from our fitness guy here at the hotel? Jeresh. Yes, Jeresh. Got to go to Jeresh. Anna's in as well this morning. Oh, ciao, Michael. Where do we get to with these comments? There are Chinese restaurants around. Yeah, any good Chinese restaurant recommendations, though, is what we're looking for, I think. And there's a restaurant in Alcobaça called El Castigo that sources local meat and is very well regarded. Okay, so if you're on the Silver Coast and you're looking for a decent steak, go to Alcobaça and El Castigo. Thank you very much for that, Pam. I appreciate that. And your earlier concern, which you've addressed there as well. Alyssa, good morning to you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all the sharing you do of our work. And never had a tough steak here. By Randy's recommendation of restaurant Casa dos Bifes Silva It's on the Gumper map. Has anyone put anything? Let us know. If you're tuned in this morning, if you added something to the Gumper map, let me know. Somebody, it was John, I think, who was, I thought he was an IT guy. Well, he is an IT guy, but he couldn't get to grips with the Gumper map. Anyone else had any luck with that? Cannot wait to get back to Portuguese coffee. What we have here is like coffee flavored tea. That doesn't sound too appetizing. And I think that might refer to Ubi, who had a business idea. We were asking, weren't we, about business ideas? Speaking of coffee and potential Portuguese business opportunities, I've noticed a low number of Starbucks refreshing since I'm not a fan. I've noticed a low number of Starbucks refreshing since I'm not a fan. Okay, so yeah, you're not a fan of the Starbucks. Yet my wife and kid waited 30 minutes at Lisbon's Corte Inglés Starbucks because it was hugely crowded. I was sickened, actually. What gives? Yeah, what gives? I mean, it's a bit like Michael was talking, I think, with comfort, wasn't it? And nostalgia. You know, something from the old place every now and then. You can be forgiven for that. Why would you go to Starbucks? So is Pam's question. When in Portugal, coffee is great and available everywhere. I think it is for that little bit of taste of the old place, right? Ubi, I find Starbucks coffee has a very burnt flavor. I prefer coffee black, and I think they do that deliberately so their drinks still have some flavor. Coffee flavor after all the cream and sugar they add. Yes, and they'll be having that autumnal one, won't they, with the caramel Halloween coffee with bits of witch and wizard in it, or whatever they do there to market their coffee. The camera just fell over in the kitchen. What I'm gonna do is just give you a bit of kitchen cam. Oh no, I think she's pressed the wrong button there. Oh no, I'm gonna mute and go to the kitchen. We've got young Minnie's cooking in the kitchen there. Good morning. Did you want to say hi, or we just things?
Do you want to say hello, Minnie? Can you hear us?
We can hear you loud and clear, and in the ceramic-clad kitchen, it has a certain sound quality. And Orvush from our own chickens, possibly there, going into the pancake mix for Big Brother. Are you looking after him this morning, Minnie, on his birthday?
Are you looking after Digby on his birthday? What have you done for him, or what are you doing for him?
I let him choose my clothes.
What's that?
I let him choose.
Oh my God! That was bad. I'm not having any of them.
We've already made the pancakes. We've got a stack of pancakes, which look great, just like they did yesterday.
Good.
We've already grilled the bacon.
Yes. Oh my goodness! Wash your hands.
Actually, what we're making right now is we're making cupcakes. And I've already strained the yogurt to make a yogurt frosting.
Yeah.
Because, like, historically, my birthday cakes in Portugal have been terrible, haven't they?
They have. It has been quite birthday cakes. Yes, I don't think you've been able to get all the ingredients you wanted.
So I'm doing a very simple recipe, which I'm hoping goes well.
Good. All right, we'll come back to you after Minnie's washed her hands. Go wash your hands, Minnie, after sneezing in the batter there. Top flavors from Casa Munson's kitchen there this morning. Thank you for the this is from Antonia about Chinese restaurants. There used to be many more Chinese restaurants, but they might get more profit from the Chinese shops than from restaurants. That's very likely, isn't it? There's a lot of overhead, isn't there, in running a kitchen? Better to have all that inventory out there and being sold in the Chinese shops that Michael described earlier on. Khadija is the greeting from Victoria, from the God Squad, the original God Squad. Coach Turner, me, Victoria, and Khadija, Rebel Mama, of course. That is also, you can click through to the God Squad fitness tips. Gentle fitness for bon viveurs. That's also available via goodmorningportugal.com. And Chinese shops, in case you didn't know, are the equivalent of the British pound shops in the UK, selling almost everything super cheap but low quality. I think that's fair. It's fair to say. Now, what do you expect, though, for €1 when you buy a phone charger or a phone, even probably? So, yeah, there are Chinese restaurants around, and there is one next door to our hotel here in Falasia. And is it good, Ian? Did you go there? Or have you eschewed the Chinese food in favor of something perhaps a little more healthy from the hotel buffet there at your running track hotel? Beef English, carne Portuguese, steak English, and steak. Thank you, Antonio. Bifa is what you're looking for. Bifa for steak, carne for meat. Thank you very much, Antonio F, for that. Regarding the beef, of course, you get what you pay for, like most things in life. You can get good Portuguese beef, but you have to pay for it. The Portuguese economy does not generally support high-end cuts of steak. But that said, there are all the other cuts in the supermarket, so you can make a beautiful beef stew or just risk your teeth a little bit. So that's a really good comment. Thank you very much for that, Marcus. What I'll do, I'll put the kitchen cam on again so you can see. I think Minnie has washed her hands now after sneezing into the batter. Added ingredients there that you don't get in every restaurant or kitchen. Pam, oh, hold on a minute. Mrs. M wants to speak. Say that again.
She's washed them with soap. She's very happy.
Washed them with soap, so our cake might taste a little bit of soap as well today. All right, I'm just muting you up. Wave if you need to speak, you two. I've always wondered about the lack of Mexican restaurants, having met quite a few Mexican people here, but restaurants are starting to appear now. Yeah, of course, it's gonna be happening, isn't it? As Michael said, I think as more communities move here, they will want to eat their traditional food and share their traditional food with the people of Portugal and others here. So we can look forward to that, I think, can't we? That progression and evolution of availability of food from all over the world here in Portugal. The Portuguese Wagyu is the Galgão Minhota cow from the Minho region. Oh, so the Portuguese Wagyu, okay, super tender, but be prepared to pay big bucks for a small steak. And that's probably not the marketing slogan they're looking for. Big bucks for our small steaks. They'll probably just say high end, will they not? Breakfast in Cape Town when you're here. So another invitation from Michael. Oh, that's really great. Thank you, everybody, for those lovely invitations. Oh, hold on. Minnie's wants to speak as well. Go on, Min.
We're not making a cake. We're making cupcakes.
Cupcakes.
We're making cupcakes.
Point of order, Chairman. All right. Thank you very much. Cupcakes, not a cake. Thank you, Min. The locals, I don't think we're going to see some they made earlier. We're not going to see them come out of the oven, but maybe we can show you a picture tomorrow. It's looking very Nigella there for some reason. I don't quite know why. Maybe a safety pin could help with that. The locals here boycotted the 2 local Chinese shops as they said they didn't contribute, just took. They're both closed now. Wow! My goodness, some community responding in quite the way there. Have a great day, Antonio from Pete, as my friend is fixing my pinball machine and collimating my telescope. That sounds painful, Pete. Makes up for the trauma of a weekend we had. Oh, Pete. Okay, well, I hope nothing too terrible happened and that you have a successful collimation of your telescope. That could quite easily be a sexual euphemism. It probably is actually just to do with your telescope. But if you go to a good restaurant that is known for steaks, you can find a good steak. A pro tip, if the beef is not called a specific cut that you recognize, like a prego or bitok, skip it. Thank you. Marcus seems to know a thing or two about this. The kids we had knocking for Pau de Douche were older this year, teenagers. Yes. It's slightly different, isn't it, when you open the door to trick-or-treating teenagers compared to little kids who are sweet and wiping their faces with their hands as they make cakes in front of the camera there. Give her a wipe, somebody. Anna's here as well. Stop wiping your hooter, Minnie, and cooking at the same time. And where's your apron? Bon dia from Anna this morning. They're going to taste lovely, them cupcakes, I'm sure. Also note that the beef here is not finished on corn and has a low level of fat. Marcus really does know a lot about. He got beef about beef here, possibly. So not a high level of. Oh, has a low level of fat. Yeah, not a high level of fat. So if you order anything above medium, it'll be tough. Okay, my favorite cuts to eat at a restaurant are vazia. That's what we had. We had the vazia last night, albeit at Portugalia, but it was really good. And naco, yes. So yes, you can ask for nacho or vazia here. Oh, and by the way, we went talk. I don't know why, but the words vazia and naco reminded me of Funkel Vaj, which it delights us to go past. Talking about the IC8, Mrs. M. I said, quick, get a picture of. We're driving past Fungal Vaj this morning, yesterday afternoon, and we eventually got a picture. But Mrs. M, not the quickest on the draw when it comes to getting out the mobile phone and taking a picture of funny place names. Fungal Vaj, honestly. Pete, what happened? We worked for quite a while here, Broke out 4 months ago, and we can't wait to get back to it. Lethal Weapon. You'll have to come and give it a whirl. What is it? Is this his telescope he's talking about? Or his pinball machine, I wonder? Oh, yeah, pinball machine. It's been a long time since I enjoyed one there. Do you allow people to push your pinball machine? You know, the experienced players, the pinball wizards, they just know how to push the pinball machine before the tilt comes on, don't they? My mum and dad had a pub, so I learned to play pinball and pool from an earlier age. Marcus, thank you for all your tips about beef. Gene saying Mexican cuisine, you'll miss that, Gene, more than Chinese food or Starbucks. As long as I can find jalapenos, I will make my own. I think you're getting a bit anxious about the jalapenos. Don't worry, Gene. We'll make sure you have jalapenos there in the Algarve, even if we have to send you some seeds ourselves. When we meet up, we'll do a bit of seed swapping, right? Recommendation from the fitness guy, then Jerez. You'll be able to get some decent beef up there in the Jerez. Is anyone on Twitter? We are Morning Portugal. It seems even more horrible since Elon Musk took over, says Pam. Not a fan then. And the correct expression when it comes to Canal Tancan, Casa con gato, translated as those who don't have a dog hunt with a cat, meaning that if you don't have the proper tool or solution, find another solution. So there you go. Thank you very much for that clarification. Happy birthday, Digby. Cheers, Owen. Appreciate that. Birthday greetings coming in for Mr. Diggs. Bon dia, Cambada, in caps from Joao F. Nice to see you here. And the F team strikes again. Yes, Joao and Antonio F. How about this for a movie title? Love it when a plan comes together. The F team. I think you'll get quite a few people watching that, intrigued by the idea of an F team, I suspect. Carl never did Facebook as a social media. It was first set up as a sexist grade college girls in school. That's right. We know about Mark Zuckerberg's past, don't we? And his not entirely brilliant intentions. I struggle to see how and why so many embrace it. It looks like it's still got a grading name. Facebook, indeed. Point taken there, Deagle. I'm quite addicted to the old Facebook and have enjoyed it. I wouldn't have met Mrs. M, who you can see there making cupcakes. Happy birthday. I'm going to move on. Happy birthday to Digby. The best steak I had. Thank you for that, Baddie. The best steak. She's vibrating now, so her Nigella-like status is being vibrated by a hand whisker. The best steak I had was at AKA Sushi in Castelo Branco. Kobe beef, specially bred in Portugal for this restaurant. Delicious. So there you go. It is possible. And perhaps old Heronius Maximus might have been being a little bit snobby this morning with looking down on Portuguese steak. Thank you, everybody, for these lovely greetings for Digby. Parabéns, felicidades, Digby. Thank you very much, Victoria, for that. Special chewy bits in the cake. Stephen, Brian Taylor, try sous vide to cook your tough locally bought steaks. Yeah, Brian's a bit of a chef. Remember his pineapple on the doner kebab machine? Excellent for making a tough steak tender. So what is sous vide? Is that sort of marinated in some sort of acidic? Is it wine possibly or vinegar? That's what happens with the bifanas. They're made more tender by the marinade overnight, are they not? That sounds like a good treatment. Would like to know more. I imagine Owen knows what you're talking about there. And vazia, uma vazia, when I come back from the Bahia. Thank you very much for that pronunciation note there. Hola, bon dia, kids, from a clear, cool Portimao. All of life is here in the Munson household, as you can see behind Mrs. M's. Hoffen. Today's show brought to you by the Hoffen hand blender. Who doesn't like a hand blend first thing in the morning? Good morning, Raquel from Joao F. I think it's the first time I see you. Welcome. And Carl H probably too as well. It has to be picanha for me. That ribbon of fat along the top melts like butter cooked properly. Oh, picanha. If jalapenos are my only concern, I will count my blessings. Well said. And Abel is here as well. Good morning, folks. Regarding beef, Aberdeen Angus is probably the best beef in the world. And there's Abel, our Portuguese Scotsman there, Abel Pinheiro. Good morning to you, Abel. I haven't seen you for a while. And it's a water bath, the sous vide. So what you do, you're steaming the meat to make it more tender. Happy birthday, diggers. Don't listen to your dad, Minnie. He needs to keep going green, and you are just adding that to the cake. Very good, Pete. Oh, wrong jingle. Wrong jingle. Finally got there in the end, Pete. There you go. A nice leisurely morning this morning. Cupcakes being made in the kitchen there. Well done, Minnie. Yeah, that's right. You keep going there, love. You look like you're having great fun making cupcakes in the kitchen. Gonna have a look at the weather now. And we'll come back to the kitchen in just a little while to see how those cupcakes are doing. And we might even get a look at Mrs. M's pancakes as well, if we're lucky, this morning. And she might even join us on screen towards the end of the show. I'm going to go to the Portugal weather, which I've done a little bit differently now over on the website. All the W's, goodmorningportugal.com. Let's have a look at that weather then, which we keep saying we're going to do. It is advertised. I do beg your pardon. It is advertised as part of the show, but we get exciting here. And we tend to veer off, don't we? And I digress and start talking about other things, and we don't do the weather. So here it is. I've got some news to update as well. We haven't done the news for a couple of days. Any news on our own website at our Gumper news desk. But you know what? This morning we might have a quick look at the Portugal news and the Portugal resident, and see what we think about that on Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. Not that many questions, it has to be said. I had one answer to my question about what's the first thing you bought on Amazon when you came to Portugal? What was that thing you forgot, didn't bring with you, or didn't know you needed to bring with you? Could somebody answer that for me, please? We are thinking of creating an Amazon store for those little bits and pieces that you need in a hurry that can be delivered to you. Ideally, we would recommend a local provisioner of such things. But when you're in a hurry and you really need something, and your new life here in Portugal, has an urgent need, could be a good way. In fact, we probably need a little guide to using Amazon, don't we? And maybe a top 10 of things. We could create a little Amazon store, which is another nice little bit of monetization, of course, for us here at Good Morning Portugal. Let's take a look then at that weather that I've been promising for several days now, possibly weeks. Send your weather pics, of course, as well to studio@goodmorningportugal.com. Lisbon at the moment, then 15 degrees, which is 59 in the Fahrenheit, and it's going to be 19 the high, cloudy. A cloudy week we can see there in the capital. A little bit of rain tomorrow, Thursday, quinta-feira, and a little bit of rain to start next week as well. High temperature this week, 20 degrees. Porto at the moment, currently 10, will rise to 16. And a similar pattern with rain forecast for tomorrow and Sunday and going into next week. But a sunny day with a high of 16 on Saturday to look forward to there. Temperatures still reaching 20 degrees in Coimbra. Look at this. That's the forecast for Saturday. Sunny day in Coimbra, 20 degrees, starting out 18. There's your differential there. And 19 today even. And 19 tomorrow with a little bit of rain forecast again, quinta-feira. And currently 13 in Coimbra, overcast with clouds. Down in the south, for you, Coach Turner, 20-degree day. 22 on Friday. I think that's when you're returning home, isn't it? 22 degrees to see you off then on Friday, and a little bit of sun peeking out from behind the clouds. And a sunnier looking week in prospect for the next week coming up. Monday and Tuesday, sunny days, 20 degrees. How about that? How about a late holiday, an unexpected holiday in Faro for anyone watching the show, looking at that weather and thinking, Monday, Tuesday next week, sunny, 20 degrees. You know what? I'm heading to the Algarve. You could be thinking of that. Oh, and I will be in the Algarve on the 11th. Delighted to have been invited to host a panel discussion. And we'll be doing that on Friday the 11th. So the roadshow, the Good Morning Portugal roadshow, continues. We've just got back from Castelo Branco, and we've had an invitation to the Algarve on Friday the 11th. So we can do a bit of pressing the flesh and glad handing. Stop it. On November the 11th, of Friday. So looking forward to being down in the Algarve on a rare visit down there. It's been ages since we've been there. Just like we hadn't been to Castelo Branco for a long time. Loved it. Changed our perspective. I think a little trip to the Algarve will be the same. So that's the 11th of November. Looking forward to meeting people there. Braga today, 12 degrees currently, overcast with clouds. And it will rise to 16 today. And it started at 9. And a sunny Saturday. Looking forward to the weekend there in Braga. Aveiro currently 7. Let's whiz through these then. 7 degrees in Aveiro at the moment. 10 in Beja. Castelo Branco, where we've just come from, 12 degrees. I think we're looking at a sunny Saturday. aren't we? This coming weekend, higher temperatures and a little bit of sunshine in Portugal. Leiria, 20 degrees. That's pretty cool for this coming weekend. Santarém, similarly. So not too bad at all. Saturday's looking good. Although we need the rain, don't we? A little bit cloudy at the moment. And I think rain coming up tomorrow and sunshine Saturday this coming weekend. That's the general picture across Portugal as I'm scrolling through the weather that you can see at goodmorningportugal.com. Just click on the news and weather tab and you'll be able to see these for yourself at any given time. And you'll also be able to look at Phil's weather station as well. If I scroll back to the top and you go to the Óbidos weather station live feed link, let's have a look at some of that data, shall we? And let's bring the kitchen cam back on as well. I'm just gonna stop sharing that particular screen there and share the weather station. Oh, the Krusties are with us as well. Uncle Krusty and Claudia are with us at the moment, celebrating Digby's birthday this morning. Personal weather station. Now, you know, when I was, you may have, oh, look, she's tying her hair back now. Bit late for that. Apron, hair back, wash hands, and then wash hands again after sneezing on them. Correct kitchen hygiene. Look at Minnie looking at me. Yes, personal weather station. I would love to see more of these, linking to more of these. This is Phil's that we're linked to here in Óbidos. Steward's Eye, as it's called. 58.6, very accurate weather information gathering here. Look at all this data. If anyone else wants to do this in their garden and we can link to it, this will be very helpful for people choosing where to live, and they'll be able to see the patterns. You've got weather history on here. Look at this. That's a really helpful thing for anybody wanting to know what the weather will be like in an area of their choosing when moving to Portugal. So this personal weather stations, would love to see more of those that we can link to. And if you've got a webcam that we could link to, maybe one in your garden when we can see Portuguese wildlife, maybe an amazing view of the sea, maybe an amazing view of Monsanto, Phil, on a webcam. And some evenings we could just live stream that, couldn't we, as we did from Castelo Branco. How are we doing in the kitchen there? How are those cupcakes coming along? Cupcakes?
I'm making a giant cake. Not giant, like medium.
You're making a medium-sized cake, did you say?
We've got a little bit of spare cake mix, so we're just going to make you know, it's going to be like a kid cake. This isn't going to look like a normal cake. This is just going to be a bit of fun, really, which is like all of my cooking.
It's not going to be about, it's not going to be about the presentation then, is that what
no
okay.
No, it's about the thought and the fact that it's going to be okay, and they'll be tasty. We've done the taste test already.
Yeah. Okay.
We're just about to put the cupcakes in.
Will I be able to lick out your bowl later?
Absolutely. Okay, yeah, who doesn't like to lick? Who doesn't like to lick?
I'm muting her there because she's about to get disgusting. I can tell. Okay, so what is my country weather station? Where did I see that? My personal weather station doesn't have Wi-Fi. If the cat comes in wet, it's been raining. Very good, Stephen. You can always send us a picture of that. And what weather station do you have, Carl? I don't have. That's Phil's, and I don't know what I can tell you about that. It's a weather station that is directly connected to something called Wunderground or weatherunderground.com. If I put the link to it, which Phil has already put this in the public domain, I'm very happy to share that information. So for those of you who might like to do that, I'm going to put that into the chat there. And you'll be able to see wunderground.com and Phil's particular link to his particular weather station. So if you want to do that, as Deagle's offering here now, Carl, I record rainfall in Belfast each month with my rain gauge. If you want to add that to our little weather report there, Deagle, you're most welcome to as well. We love to talk about the weather, don't we? Here, who doesn't like a glad hand first? Stop it, Mark. You as well, Marcus. Honestly, I'm scrolling back to sausage skins by the look of this. What? Not moving to Portugal for the beef, says the Pejavor. What does that mean? Is that the fish lover, I guess, the Pejavor there? Yeah, quite. And not many people do move to Portugal, I think, for the beef, do they? But it's just a nice, an unexpected and extra treat occasionally here rather than the main event. I bought stuff on Amazon Spain and most of it didn't arrive, says Lord Gilchrist. Well, you should bring that up in the House of Lords. That's disgraceful. You didn't fight in 2 world wars for that sort of treatment, Lord Gilchrist. I'm getting sick of Amazon. He is adding, they've become unreliable over the years. So maybe I shouldn't be asking you what you bought from Amazon because it didn't arrive anyway. First Amazon purchase in Portugal, says Owen, sausage skins to make my own sausages. Who doesn't like? Okay. Maybe this is not a question but an answer. If you need something, ask around at your local cafe. That's a great tip, isn't it? So, okay, my Amazon idea is a terrible one. This is much better. They will know the best place to find anything. You're quite right. I remember doing that. What, 15 years ago or so when I first came to Portugal? Local cafe in Tabua. Where can I get some firewood? Later on that evening, guy takes me down a dark country lane to put some firewood in the back of my hire car, which I'm thinking, I'm going to lose my deposit on this. We can't speak to each other. We don't have a shared language, but we're laughing and joking and drinking stout. The black Sagres, the dark Sagres, Preto, later on that same evening. You're absolutely right. Ask in the local cafe. Don't use Amazon. This was a bad idea, wasn't it? If I want a wide range of products online, I go to Wharton, not just for electrical stuff as well. Okay, thank you, everybody. I've been schooled this morning with this, haven't I? I used Amazon Spain and have to pay a blasted customs tax. Not blooming believable. A lot of bad reactions, like a lot of I don't believe it sort of reactions. Lord Gilchrist and Pete there. How's it going, Minnie? Everything okay in the kitchen there?
Good.
Okay, excellent. Yes, thank you very much for that, Marcus. Raquel, oh, hold on. Let's go back to Mrs. M for a minute.
We're stacking his pancakes like yesterday. So this is not going to look like it did at the posh restaurant. Oh, someone's stuck in our bathroom.
Someone's stuck in the bathroom. Okay, extra drama in the kitchen there. Let's make sure everything's okay there. We'll come back to the the excitement downstairs in just a little while. Hold on a minute. This is a good question, Antonio. Why would you have to pay taxes from Spain? Isn't this the whole point of the European Union? The products must have come from outside the EU, but it is quite strange. Yes, well said. If you can find them, hold on, Mrs. M, have we got a report? She's tapping on the glass here. Everything okay?
Digby's stuck in the bathroom and I can't unlock it. Are you able to do it? Oh,
His
no, and he's late for a lesson as well.
Oh,
it's a disaster. I set my alarm for her to go to the music lesson, and now our eldest, his birthday, is locked in our bathroom, and we can't unlock it.
A live drama unfolding here on the Good Morning Portugal show, and our local reporter in the kitchen is keeping us abreast of what's going on, quite literally. Mrs. M, can you get him to open the window, and then he can climb out the window? It is on the ground floor, everybody. Just get him to climb out the window and help him back in through the front. I will be down in about 8 minutes, okay? Okay, all right. I've got to go and sort that out, everybody. The lad, it's his birthday, and he's stuck in the downstairs lav. Can you believe that? Okay, let's just go through a few of these last. I've got to go, obviously. My favorite mini hair and bogey cakes. Pete will save you one. Carl's Halloween specials. Make sure Dad eats an extra one for me. Yes, okay, Pete. I'll take that one for the team. Okay, it's that or someone has the garden sprinklers on. What? I see. Yes, if the cat comes in where it's been raining, best weather station of all. Yes. Your cat. If it's raining, your cat won't go out in the first place, will it? 404 page not found. Oh, okay. For that weather station, go to the Good Morning Portugal. Go to the Good Morning Portugal page, goodmorningportugal.com. Click on the weather and news tab, and at the top of the weather page, you will see the click through for that. Andy, we'll get that sorted out for you. Mrs. M, the main thing of all is the time you share with your daughter that is precious. Then the taste. Well said. Thank you, Raquel. An old Irish song, 7 old ladies got stuck in the lavatory. I imagine that's a good one, sung by a group of drunken Irish people. There should be a flat slot. Look, we're getting help coming in. There should be a flat slot on the other side. Who doesn't like in the first thing in the morning? The flat slot on the other side of the lock where you can unlock with a knife or similar. He's been okay. So we need to let everybody know that Digby is now rescued from the lavatory and he's about to enjoy his stack of pancakes with bacon and egg. That's as good as yesterday. Your mum's done you a lovely job there. Happy birthday, Digby. Well done, mate. Yeah, okay. How did you get him out of the tub?
Hello.
How did you get him out of there?
I got him to open the window, and then I pulled him out of our downstairs bathroom window.
Very good. You're so resourceful. Excellent. Well done. So
What a funny day! Like, I set my alarm so Minnie could go into her music lesson and totally forgot.
Okay.
You know, all the cooking and everything.
Oh,
How is everyone today?
Well, Pete is saying he's loving the new format, and what people mean by that is you. I think
I keep saying that, but I don't know if it is me. I'm sure it's just like me, I creating a disaster wherever I go.
It's either that or sneezing into the cake mix and a child stuck in the toilet. Never work with children or pets live, not even. There's your,
or your wife.
Right there. You never work with your wife, your children, or your pets. Raquel, you didn't see this. This was a message for you, which is really special. Mrs. M, the main thing of all is the time you share with your daughter. That is precious. Then the taste.
Thank you. It goes so fast. It is really special.
Look at that. This is a household emergency, but the show must go on. You betcha. That's the Munson breakfast show.
The cake's rising. I can show you the pre-risings of the cake.
Please be careful, okay? We've already had someone sneezing into the cake mix. We've had someone stuck in the toilet. Please be careful near that hot oven. Okay, that looks like it needs a bit of Mr. Muscle on it later as well.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry about that. Shaming yourself.
I'm not talking about the oven. And now Carl, Carl will have to climb through in the window and unlock the door. Make sure that is on video. No, Stephen. No, I have my other method. I might have to pop down the Chinese shop and get some WD-40 for that.
Yeah.
And,
he's not the first one to get stuck in that toilet. We don't normally lock the door, but we've got guests, and I think our birthday boy, I think, wanted to make sure that nobody came in while he was doing his morning constitutional. And hello, so I'm just talking about
you. You here?
How's your?
It tasted like the regular one, but bigger.
Oh wow! It tasted like it did yesterday, but bigger.
Look at that!
Amazing. There we go.
There you go, mate. The Munson Breakfast Show. I fully support that. Full team on the job this morning, celebrating Digby's birthday. I agree, Pete. GMP has the family feel. Long may it continue, and a bit of privacy on his birthday. Well, he's 11 now. He never used to bother, did he? No, he's 11.
No, but stay tuned because we've got another birthday in 15 days' time. So
I'll lock someone else.
It could get really bad.
The pancakes look yummy. Well done.
Oh, here he comes now. Come and say hello. Come and say hello to everyone.
It is truly the breakfast, the family breakfast show. There you go. A bit like Family Butcher. It's such a terrible phrase, that isn't it? Okay. Show it's been this morning.
All right, I've got to go.
See ya. I've got some acrobats to show you now. I know I had something else. Thank you, Mrs. M. What a great job you've done this morning with the kids. Well, I've been working hard here. I'd have loved to have helped, but I've been working hard up here on the first floor. Oh, yes, a nice image to show you. This is clearly creative. This is Lynn, who came to last week's San Martino de Porto meetup, building a villa on the outskirts of San Martino de Porto, and created this bit of artwork. This has a resonance of the Alcabasa public art, doesn't it? And possibly the Alcabasa logo, maybe. That's beautiful. Lovely bit of art stuck on the outside of the house there. Nice job, Lynn, of Clearly Creative, who allowed us to share that this morning. Thank you for that. Another look at Lord Gilchrist, full English, that we taunted and teased Michael with earlier. And a visual dad joke here. Let's get into those dad jokes. Well, actually, I'll do the rest of the dad jokes after the acrobats. This is the most bizarre thing. Would you want to see this in a restaurant while you're eating? I'm going to show you in just a minute, acrobats in a restaurant. Can you think of other things you might like to see while you're eating, as well as or instead of acrobats? Anyway, I just got a job making plastic Draculas. There are only 2 of us on the production line. This is a bit late for Halloween, isn't it? So I have to make every second count. That's good, isn't it? That is very good. I think that's was worthy of consideration. Oh, have we got another face from you, Marcus? That's a Shuva face. That's the Este Complicado face. Have we got another one for today? Not the glad hand face. Thank you very much. And acrobats in the restaurant then. Dougie's in. And yes, thank you, you 2-minute tease. enough about your love life, Dougie, this morning. Let's have a look at some acrobats. You might want to try this in the bedroom. That's something you don't see every day. I'm glad they didn't try that in our kitchen downstairs this morning. Had enough to deal with. That was our entertainment on Sunday night, says Coach Turner. A pizza place. There were a group of acrobats training at the hotel gym. Now, I wonder what other hotel guests might there have been that would have performed in the restaurant like that. And often when there are performers in a restaurant, you get someone from the crowd, don't you? Would someone like to come up and join us and have a go at this? Probably not after I've just had me Hawaiian. Thank you very much. I'm a bit bloated. I won't be joining you for that. That's quite bizarre and strange, but thank you very much for sending it into the community contributed show, Portugal Loving, as we are every weekday morning. We do have another face from the many faces of Marcus learning Portuguese. Here's the Poish face. I think that's about right. We're gonna have to make a little web page of these, aren't we? The many faces of European Portuguese. Thank you for that this morning's face. Poish. There you go. Thank you very much indeed. Last couple of comments then before we go today. Don't they get awfully tired first thing in the morning? What's that? The acrobats. Do they make Velcro that strong? Ideas for later. Indeed. If they were wearing Velcro and there was a Velcro wall, you would get me there. Yes. I think Andy's talking about the kind of adult soft play area where you can throw people against the Velcro wall and leave them hanging there, literally. Happy birthday for the little one. Oh, thanks, Alyssa. Very kind of you. Don't forget the like button. Are they waiting for a table? Those acrobats. They just got the bar bill. Very good, everybody. Very good indeed. And do they make Velcro that strong? My goodness. Okay. And Doug, yes, thank you very much for your teaser of your 2-minute tasters. First is edited. Oh, they're all edited. Oh, no, the first 2-minute tasters. That's like a tongue twister as well, isn't it? The first 2-minute teasers are edited and ready to be sent. So we look forward to sharing those. And yes, Pete, nice to see something rising early in the morning in the Munson household. Very good. And on that note, we will say goodbye for now. Ciao for now this morning. Adios, tamanya. And who have we got on the show tomorrow morning on Thursday? Let me just check, because it's not coming immediately to mind. It's been a busy week, but I can tell you that tomorrow morning, Jenny on Friday, a Feel Good Friday with Jenny B. Oh, and we have Ian and Fabrizio tomorrow talking to us from Lisbon. They are in the real estate business and are looking forward to talking to us, and I'm looking forward to talking to them tomorrow. Great fun this morning. I've got to go and eat some cupcakes, and maybe there might be a little bit of pancake, bacon, and egg left. Thank you very much to Michael Heron, and thank you to all of you. What fun it's been this morning. It's nice to be back in Studio A. And but we are going on the road, as I say, to the Algarve on the 11th of November, so maybe see you down there. So all the best. Bye for now, and have a great day, dear friend. Bye for now.
Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. hour rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.